here. We are the dynamic duo, Heather, Nancy.
Hi.
If you are first timers or unfamiliar with us, we have been doing demos every other Wednesday I was quickly trying to remember how long we've been. I have no idea how long we've been doing this. So
I think it's longer than we think. It still feels very new to me all the time.
But when you go back into the YouTube channel, it's like, oh, there's quite a lot of content.
Stuff.
So
yeah.
Hello, thank you for being here. We are running a bit behind. We were just busy, so that just happens. We appreciate you being here. If you're not catching us live, then of course, or if you can't stay for the whole thing, you can always find our demos on the YouTube channel. So that generally gets uploaded to our YouTube channel just later in the day. So check there. Even scroll through there. There might be other techniques from last year and you want to revisit. Great place to find it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's the power of powders.
Who came up with that? You or Lorene or Brianna?
I think Lorene did. Because that's awesome. I laughed my butt off.
When you ladies are good with the words, it's like, oh, clever, just clever. The power of powders. And you always appreciate that for sure. So I'll just quickly let you know. So all of the embossing powders and the glazes are 15% off today and tomorrow in person and of course online. Okay.
Excellent. Excellent.
And we have a great selection, and we're just going to run through some kind of basics today.
We're getting back to the basics.
Back to the basics. We do have, a lot of new customers and new crafters, or even people who have had all this stuff in their stash for so long, kind of forgetting the basics. So we're going to do that.
Re-inspire.
Yeah. So we've brought up your comments here. So if you have questions along the way, please toss them in there, and we will try to catch them and answer them.
Yes.
And a lot of times we'll go back individually at the end of our shift type of thing, go through the comments and
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're also always looking for ideas. So if you want to post an idea for a future dynamic duo, let us know.
But I was going to say, you're away in 2 weeks.
I am.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I think we're going to skip that one.
To be determined.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just do a surprise something. So
you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
We'll see.
Yeah, stay tuned. Anyway, so we're going to have Brianna flip the camera down and we will get to it. So hi everybody. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
We've got some people joining us.
Yes, we do. Hello,
hello
Bonnie,
everybody.
Jennifer, Kelly, hello.
Oh, I seen the love. Look at that.
Look at that. They sent us hearts.
Thanks for the love.
We appreciate that.
Just a bit. And I think I'm just going to lower this.
That is looking fantastic, though, Brianna. We appreciate that.
We definitely appreciate you.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Yeah, the little face. Somebody put the face stickers on our speakers, and I think they're adorable.
Do you know?
You want to know the reason why?
Do you want to hear that, Brianna? You tell the story.
One of our microphones accidentally went through someone's
washing machine.
Julia.
Because it was black, and she had on a black shirt.
Yeah.
So not noticed, went in the washer, and then went, oh no.
And then they couldn't find it for about a day, and then
because it was magnet also in there or something. Yes.
So the magnet got it.
The magnet went into the drum of
the inside of the drum of the washer. So they did finally find it, and then tested it, and lo and behold, it still works.
Yahoo!
I know. I was like,
still
whoa.
works.
So now we have the fun stickers on them,
so that they are easily seen to be like, oh yeah, I need to remove that. Yeah. I know. Funny, right?
That is bizarre. Oh no.
But thankfully they survived the wash.
So good.
Anyways, okay.
So we wanted to get back to basics on the power of embossing powder. So back in the day, when embossing powder first came out, what would we use? Versamark. And there was some colors. And they came in little jars. But then, holy crow, the world exploded in the world of embossing because, I mean, there's all sorts of different brands, of course, but, it started off just fairly straightforward. There's a white, there's a black, and then they started changing the consistency. So this one's super fine. So when you want to do finer images.
Like finer images or sentiments.
Right.
Yeah.
You can use your super fine. And then there was thick embossing powders. So those all kind of came about. And then Distress came along and decided they needed to get in the game with their colors, but these are glazed, so they're somewhat see-through. So that's...
But do you have a regular Ranger powder too? Not just glazes?
I don't know. I just... You know what? I grabbed so fast.
Yes. Because I should show that. Yeah. Oh, yes. And for those of us that do a lot of embossing, these, wow. big jars are
I
fantastic.
don't
too.
have a normal rain jar.
Okay, I have to go grab one because I do need to show that. That is a standard. Okay,
Yes,
back.
yes. So, so then, of course, we all started kind of using the Versamark. Now, the Versamark originally came out, and now you see right here on it says watermark stamp pad. So the idea behind this is I would load up my stamp on a brick, or back in that time, you probably had your wooden block stamps, and you'd just stamp on dark cardstock, and it would make a lovely watermark. Then they realized, well, it's very sticky, and it holds embossing powder really well. So that's what you need. You need your ink to be sticky and hold the powder in place long enough for you to introduce hot air and not have it blow away
exactly
and melt.
Yes.
Okay, so these are your Ranger ones.
Yeah, so these would also look familiar if you've been embossing for a while. These were the initial embossing powders.
The
This kind of format, the size of jar.
Yeah.
Beautiful colors in there. Not a huge variety of colors like WOW offers.
Yeah.
But a great selection. So
Yeah.
these are the ones that we have. We have a ton of the WOW, the Ranger, which also includes the Distress Embossing Glaze.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing to know about WOW is they quite often do a limited release color. Like this one, I don't even think you can get it anymore, but what's happened is this paper artsy designer, Raquel Burillo Perez, who was known as Scrap Cozy, worked with WOW and was able to get this Egyptian turquoise color.
Yes, you get some really unique ones too.
Exactly. So, I mean, one of my favorites, oh, I hope we still have it, is called Turkish Coffee. By Gwen Lafleur, another paper artsy. So again, it's got kind of mixing. So that's the other thing people would do is back in the day, the colors were
Flat?
single or flat.
Yeah,
exactly.
okay. Yeah.
So like I might take, if I wanted to soften this up, I could, or soften up a color, I could always mix some white in and just see
Which
what
you
happens.
absolutely could
Right?
do.
So you can mix and match and play with your embossing powders.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I have yet to actually go through well, that's not totally true. I think I've gone through my basics like black and white.
And clear. I've gone through clear.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily always go through some of the more
different, unique colors.
So I would experiment
Specialty.
with them. I would feel fine experimenting with them because you can always, maybe add some more gold to it, and that would be really fun.
Yep. Okay, so we've talked about the powders. The original, the OG is the Versamark.
Yep. So what else do we need? We got powders. That's me.
That's you. Let's not confuse with
Okay.
You need
So you
a
need
tool.
powder, a tool, and an ink.
Did you talk about tools?
I haven't talked about tools
Okay.
yet. Okay.
Look at this well-loved tool.
Yeah, that's mine. That's mine. And I brought it because...
Same. This is the demo bar, so, a
Yeah.
little bit of love on there.
I knew the I think I actually did that to this one, if you want the honest truth. I was teaching Explore, and they got out this brand new one, and I said, oh, here, have it back. And it's covered in paint. So there you go. So there is a multiple tools on the market. Let's just look what we have right now in stock. All of these will heat and melt your embossing powder. All of them.
Different brands.
Different brands. Okay.
Different brands.
But why would you pick one over another? Okay. This is something that you have to think about for yourself personally, how you're going to use your tool. Okay.
Yep.
So what I do personally is I actually have both of these. That's what I've done.
Me too.
And the reason is when I want to do embossing and just embossing and go nuts for embossing, I go for my
Embossing gun.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's hot.
It's hot and it
it's
has direct
fast
heat.
And direct heat, right.
Yes.
This one is very versatile, and it even says you can use to melt embossing powders, but it's got a gentle airflow, and it can quick dry your glues, inks, and paints. So it's a versatile tool, but I find it slower. So if I'm
It's slower because this is diffused, this heat, versus direct.
Direct, yeah.
Same temperature, but it is slower.
Yeah, so this will melt your embossing powder just the same. It just takes a little longer. And then the other thing to know, if you've never done this stuff before, we're moving product, friends.
Like, what
moving
is
product.
that? Yes.
Okay, this looks exactly like a travel hair dryer that I could pick up at Shoppers, right?
Can't see me, but I'm blowing my hair.
She's
in the,
blowing
yeah.
hair. Do you want to do that though?
No.
Not probably.
No. Same as you don't want to use your blow dryer to try to melt your powder.
Okay, your
It's
blow
not gonna
dryer
work.
isn't hot enough,
And this is
too
too
hot,
hot
for your hair. Okay?
Yes.
So just know that.
That is the big
Very
difference.
important.
Same temperature,
Okay.
but the way the air flows out is very
Yeah.
different.
Right.
Right.
So then now why these? Okay, these are very much, you can use any of these to dry
yeah.
your mixed media as well. I just find this just a little bit more gentle and doesn't bubble my paint by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why I would use that in for paint and mixed media.
Yeah.
Okay, but then just know, if you're the type of person who likes your dual tools, WOW has this two
Temperature?
temperature.
speed.
Two heat.
Temperature.
Two heat.
Okay.
Dual heat.
Dual heat.
So hot and hotter is basically what
Yeah.
it is. So you can kind of do a nice gentle heat on sort of your drying up your stuff that you've done in your mixed media, and then you can turn it up to melt your
Embossing
powders.
Okay.
The other thing, no, never mind. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, and then this one, it's just a really great tool. Two
two-speed
speed
setting as well.
Okay,
Yep.
so there you go.
Same idea then.
Yeah, and then this one, I think
Singular.
It's just a singular. So I think it kind of depends on how much you want. Like how much you want to spend, which one you trust. Do you like
Yeah.
WOW? Do you like Sizzix? Are you a American Crafts person? And then the Ranger is always great too. So I mean, they're different.
And a lot of it, I
They're
find
all
too,
even
is
really close in price.
they
points,
are really
so-
close in price. But I find too, it depends on who people follow, like what content creators. Because say
Yes.
they love somebody and all they use is one brand, and they come in saying, "I need a Sizzix heat tool."
Okay.
Okay,
You know
so
what?
they all work the same. It's the same idea.
Same idea.
They will
100%.
all work.
In fact, I still have one from back in the day that hasn't died, and the only reason I don't use it is because we can't sell it.
Me too. Mine's from like 1996.
Right? They
Like
just
it's vintage.
they're
Yeah.
workhorses. They
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
But they are great. I do a lot of heat embossing. So like Nancy, I have a tool that I specifically use for my heat embossing. But if I'm just doing a little bit of heat embossing on a project or in my junk journal, then honestly, I'll probably just have this one plugged in because it will do drying the paint and heating the powder. So
It does it.
okay,
Yep.
there you go. Good
Okay,
to
so
know.
there's our tools talk.
And FYI, they always say, and it is recommended, they should all be plugged directly into the wall.
I was going to mention that. Yes.
Yes, but however, I do have mine plugged into a bar, but not a dollar store bar. You want a good quality power
I think
bar.
what you need is a surge protector.
Yes,
Because
and
if
I
these
have
get
had
surged,
no
they
problem.
can get burnt out.
Yeah.
You can burn them.
And I've had zero problems, and I've had it
I've
plugged
had
into
zero
a
problems, and I
power
have
bar.
mine in a power bar.
Okay, so everybody, just let that be your tip of the day, right there.
Tip of the day. Yeah.
Okay, so let's also just talk about some basics, because you come into the store, you see the OG, like we said, is the Versamark, and then you're going to see Ranger embossing ink. You'll see WOW embossing ink. You'll also see a Versamark pen, a WOW embossing pen. There's a dauber. Yeah. Okay, so some of the basics. You'll see this is a Ranger emboss it. This is the Tim Holtz. What are they? They're the exact same thing.
Pretty much. Yep.
Still the same thing. People come in and they're like, I need a WOW embossing ink pad. There you go.
Yeah.
I need a Versamark. They do the same
They
thing.
really do. I will say, though,
The same ink.
one little tip
Yes.
is sometimes when, and I don't know how often this applies to everybody, but if I'm doing multiple images and I'm embossing and I want to set them aside and then come back and powder them, this ultra slow drying WOW doesn't dry quite as fast as Versamark. It's so minimal.
That's my learn for the day.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it said that. And I'm always like, look at the details, people. Ultra slow drying.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but I mean, I kept things that are embossed for people. So do I think that everybody needs to worry about replacing their Versamark to a WOW? No. But if I'm doing like 10 cards at once and I stamp them all, I can put them aside and know that I can come back and number one that I stamped.
Really?
Will still be fine.
Oh, see, I won't do that. I will stamp one, put the powder on it, stamp two, put the powder on it. I won't melt everything as I go because once the powder's on there,
You're good to go.
It can sit there for a while. Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, this is just like...
And this is also a trial and error thing,
Right.
too.
And I sometimes mention these things because if you're troubleshooting, why am I struggling with, well, this could be one of the answers.
Yeah. Huh. The one thing too, and I have 2 of these always on the go just because I never want to be without it, is a re-inker. I use my Versamark a lot. I re-ink it a lot.
I do too.
Right?
I do too.
Because it's a spongy pad.
I like it.
It has to be juicy, right? Because then you're able to make sure your
image is crisp and clean and
yes,
clear.
and getting all that powder to stick. Okay, so there's some basic things. An embossing pen, I will do a quick demo on this. It's literally what it says, embossing ink in it, so you could do like a little edge around something. You could do a personalized message on the inside of the card, perhaps. All the things. Even if you stamp an image and you missed a spot.
I was just going to say, Heather taught me something last time.
Heat set it and go back over the missed spot with your pen.
This is it.
Add the powder, boom.
Yeah, that was my mind blow last time we were talking about this. Heather's like, use your pen to... I'm like, oh,
yeah,
why didn't I think of that?
I know, it's all the things.
Right?
So we'll demo how to use the regular pad. I also brought my dabber. I'm going to show a quick way to use that. And same goes, we say this all the time. We're providing this content based on our preferences, our experience. But, the information's out there. Go to the YouTube as well. Yep. Even if especially if you're brand new to this, I would say embossing powders, just put that in. And
I'm sure you'll find
tons of stuff will come up. So anyways, there you go, okay? So we've talked about the powders. I also suggest a static tool. Mm-hmm. And we have different brands. We have a Ranger, the static pouch. That's what I started with.
Yep.
We have the American, or the EK, which one is it? EK Success? Anyways, the other little powder tool, I think Nancy will just grab them. This happens to be my favorite one. This is the Tailored Expressions. So I'll show how to use it because I'm going to use it in my demo. It has this foam top and it's refillable and it's teal. It's cute. FYI, you will not find this on our online store because Tailored Expressions does not allow brick and mortar independent stores to sell Tailored Expression products on their online store. Just FYI, so you can order this over the phone or in store. Okay, so Tailored Expressions makes one, EK Tools makes one, and then we have the Ranger anti-static pouch.
And just because we keep talking about OG, do you remember using powder, cornstarch, and a brush?
Yes, I'm sure a lot of people watching this are going to be like, I remember doing that and then melting the powder in the frying pan or with an iron.
Oh, yes.
I have heard crazy things. And
I have never had to do that.
I've never.
But I've heard that happened.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, you know what? Where there's a will, there's a way.
Right?
Isn't that part of it too?
Yep.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Never knocking on the door. Okay, I'm going to use the dabber.
Yeah.
Gloria, so you
Hang
watch
on in there.
for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it. So honestly, and I say that you want to have something to hold on to your paper with, because like we said, the guns get really hot and you don't want to get your fingers near the heat.
Yeah.
So tweezers, little handle it tools, clothespin, something to just hold on to your paper
Chip
securely.
Clip, one of those chip clips.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
really,
that's a good idea.
I just loved the little hands.
I mean, they're
so
just
I
so
had to get
cute.
it.
Me too. Me too.
I just had to get them.
Yeah. Handle it. Just handle it.
Handle it.
So it helps you just hold your hand away while you heat. Okay, that's all. And I also like to have just a fine paintbrush or something because I'm that, anal person that doesn't like
I don't know.
stuff where it doesn't belong.
I think it does. It could show up. You need to get rid of it.
Yes,
brush it
right,
off.
brush it off.
It takes
so before
a
I
30-second
heat it,
step before you heat it.
I'll demo that too. So
Yeah.
just a fine paintbrush. So, do you want to talk about anything in particular first?
Well, I think you should do the basic demo
Okay.
of how to emboss something.
All right.
And then what we might do is I might show a couple glazes just so you can get the sense of the
Yes.
difference. And then I have an idea that I wanted to show on how to zhuzh up your
Ooh, your die cuts.
die cut images.
Okay.
And I think that should cover us for today. But why don't we
Throw me the scissors, please.
Let's get started
We'll
with
just do the basic.
yeah.
And please, like we said, ask questions. I have a true love for embossing.
We really are with the embossing expert here.
that was the very first thing that got me hooked into this paper crafting hobby. Was I took an embossing powder Christmas card making class, and I want to say 1996. So I have loved it since then, and I have
beat me by a year.
Oh.
I got into crafting in 1997.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I went to a Mrs. Grossman
Oh my gosh.
sticker workshop. Remember Mrs. Grossman?
They had a sticker workshop?
Yep, she came and she taught how to build card images with her stickers.
Oh my gosh.
And then
Were those stickers on the rolls?
Yeah. But I think she came out with some. Oh no, I think she sold them on rolls. Then you bought lengths of them, but then they would have like scenes you had to build. And, it was
Oh
crazy.
my gosh, that's hilarious,
Yeah.
Nancy. Okay, so this is a brand new stamp. Anyways, I'm just getting it ready. I'm just using the Misty. Yes, it's going to be very sticky because it's a brand new acrylic stamp. FYI, if you have one of those, this is a good way to...
Actually, you know the other thing for
Oh.
prepping your stamps? Yeah.
Is your Versamark.
Right. Is your Versamark.
Yeah. Even if you don't use it that way, you just prep it like that
Yeah.
and wipe it off. It actually seasons it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy. Okay, so this is my well-loved Versamark pad. I have 2 of them.
How bad is yours? Let's see.
This is my good one. My other one's pretty bad.
Oh.
So I find too, if it gets dirty like that, once I re-ink it, I
don't find it to be a big
no,
deal.
No,
Except
it almost just sinks itself in too.
Yeah. Except if it gets really bad, I might switch out. But I haven't.
Maybe.
Wow, this one's really old.
I taught a class where somebody dropped embossing powder on it, like a lot of it. I did get rid of that one because there was no way I could get it out.
Right.
But
And that's definitely key.
some issues.
All those little bits in there.
So when you use your Versamark, okay, and I'm only choosing this one because I happen to have it. Same thing, you could be using your Wow or your Ranger. When you stamp with this, it actually has a bit of tack to it. That's when you know it has enough ink in it. Like it almost feels sticky.
Yep, it's pulling a bit.
And I have re-inked this recently, so I know it's good. And you see it's shiny. You might not be able to, but at home.
Like I remember I said at the beginning, like these used to be watermark.
Yeah, they are. That's
Stamp
how
pads.
exactly the first way I learned how to use it too
Yep.
was a watermark with
On a
snowflakes on like
On a
dark
black-
green.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just pushing it down. Might not be perfect because I don't have my little tool here. Okay, and because it's sticky, yes, it's going to grab. Okay, and you can hardly see that. You could just let this be just like this. You could, the Versamark actually too, you can also use with your mica powder and pearl
Yes.
powders, and it picks it up because it's
Yeah.
sticky.
Yeah.
So when we say sticky ink, so that's really a pigment ink.
Yes.
So heat embossing with your archival or your dye-based inks,
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
They dry
They
too
dry
fast,
too fast.
and they soak into the paper.
Yes.
Pigment ink sits on the paper and doesn't dry as fast.
Ex-
So it gives you
yes.
that working time. That's
Yeah.
my words.
So
for it.
pigment ink, so Nancy had one here, so any of the VersaFine Clairs. These
Yep.
are pigment ink. They're perfect for stamping on their own, also heat embossing.
Yep.
Cloud Nines. Have you embossed with one of these?
I was
have
going
not.
to try it. I want to try it. And
Okay.
then the other thing that surprises people all the time
All the time. People don't know this.
is oxides have pigment in it, so you can emboss them.
Yes, they're slow drying.
Yeah.
So they're fantastic for embossing.
You still have Mrs. Grossman stickers? Yeah, I got rid of them.
Okay, so this is Versamark. I can tell it's still
That's awesome.
sticky, but I wouldn't go walk the dog and then come back and try to put powder on this
Right.
and expect it to stick.
Right.
I always say you've got like a couple minutes, but not like going to cook dinner and coming back. Okay?
Right.
So while it's still wet, over a piece of scrap paper, you want to apply some powder. So I am using, and I assume we still have some of this, Clear Ocean from Wow. So a little bit, and just start making sure you get fairly good coverage on the image. But then once you move it, you can move it around, and boom, you've got the coverage. And of course, what's the one thing I say never forget?
A piece of paper?
No, anti-static.
Oh, you did.
But
Oh, well.
I think this
But
one's
this
actually
is-
pretty
you
good.
can- This is, you can show
Ah, yeah.
why you need your brush. Oh, no, that's too perfect.
It's
already.
pretty perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for being perfect.
Dang.
So there, powder is stuck. Now, if I want to go make dinner, I can't because the powder is stuck here. It's not going anywhere. Lots of people didn't know that either. They think you have to just heat it right away.
No, you don't.
You don't. Once your powder's on there, you're good for a while.
Yeah.
Okay?
Except the only thing is you want to put it out carefully somewhere so
Yes.
you don't knock the powder off.
So like I did a bunch for a class, like a bunch of embossed images.
You set them out like they were going to dry. Probably.
Yeah, so I set them out like 6 at a time, lined them up where I wouldn't bump them, and then I went and heat embossed them all, right?
Yeah.
So powder is stuck to it. That's a really lovely color. When I go to heat it, Nancy's going to be a doll here and move the powder. Put the lid on your powder or clean up your powder because
I usually put it away before I start heating because otherwise I will send it flying.
You'll have powder everywhere and then you just have to move, right? Because
I could use a new house.
it's a little difficult to clean up.
Not really.
You know what it is, glitter and powder they get in every crevice. Okay, so also when I tell people this, when you turn on your heat tool or your heat gun, it needs a second to warm up.
It does.
This is not hot enough currently to start trying to melt this. So I always say, turn on your heat tool, face it away from like everything, and I count to 15 generally. Make sure it's good and hot because if you just take a cold heat gun, face it at your project, number one, it's going to take forever. You could be blowing off powder.
Yep.
And you're allowing your paper to perhaps warp more than it should, too, right? Because you're just forcing heat on it unnecessarily. So heat it. This hasn't been on for a couple days, really. So, and you'll see it gets nice and red hot in there. And then I start at one end. And I always hold it, either with my little tweezers or tool.
You got a big piece there.
But this is a big piece of paper, so yeah, I'm not worried about it. But I start at one end, and I like to tilt it so you can actually watch it melt. It's not a blow dryer. I'm not all willy-nilly. It's concentrated
They say
heat.
we should slow down on our blow dryers too. Do you know that?
Makes sense.
Because you don't get fuzzy hair that way. Just saying.
Okay, and then I always say move with the melt. So as it's melting, and I'm about what, 2 inches away?
Yep.
As it's melting, I'm moving the heat tool. Okay? Because as soon
Once
as that
it starts to go,
it goes
fast.
pretty fast.
Yeah.
But then if it's starting to go and I'm all willy-nilly,
Oh, you're going to get spots that aren't melted. and
yes,
parts that are.
exactly. Or over melted or not melted at all.
Yeah. The other thing is okay, I've done this. I'm speaking from experience. This is, well, hopefully this is every crafter, not just me.
And I can
If you're
tell
watching TV,
it's melted.
and you
Done.
start to do the thing. Don't get caught up in
Yeah.
the show and then hold the thing
And whoosh.
because suddenly you'll get a burn mark.
it will burn, exactly.
But mind you, I have used it to burn things on purpose. Just saying.
If there's a plan. And then I let it cool. Oh, this actually has a grit in it, this one too. And then it takes 5 seconds to cool, and then you can touch it. It's good. It's not like it's tacky or anything.
No.
And then this is where I was saying to Nancy, I'm not sure what stamps she brought. Oh, we'll try with one of your paper artsy ones.
Okay.
But that's it. You need an embossing liquid, whether that be your Versamark, your pigment ink, stamp. Oh, but you can do this on other projects. So powder, heat tool. Like it's just, I love helping people learn how to heat emboss because it also, I think, elevates your project in terms of how it looks.
100%.
It's just, it's not so flat,
Yes.
right?
We
I do a lot with
us.
sentiments.
We love our layers around here.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so what else?
Okay.
So do you want to stamp this and maybe even you could do a design around it or I don't know. Let's talk about the pen too. Oh, I should clean that. Clean, Heather. Oh, I didn't bring a rag.
What? This one doesn't Heather bring a rag.
I know, I normally do.
Well, we're on the fly a bit today.
Well, even discussing, Nancy and I discuss always what our plan is for the dynamic duo. We know what it is leading up to it. And then the day before, we just kind of run ideas back and forth too. And last night we're
I
like,
want to cover this. Okay, well, then I'll cover this. And
yeah. And lots of times there's a fair amount of prep work ahead of time. And then yesterday we were like, we don't really need to prep a whole lot. This is not new. We've actually done this before. And personally, we've been doing this for so many years, right?
Right.
So then I kind of packed on the fly.
Yeah, I packed before I came.
But you know what? We happen to work in a store, whereas if we forgot something,
which is really
I know
great.
where you can get it.
Right.
Okay, so this is a really great stamp too, I want to say. I'm going to be using this one for sure. Visible image, A6 stamp set, background vision.
That's sweet.
That one's cool. You probably have this one.
I do.
Okay, there you go.
I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to emboss a couple images out of this and just see where it goes. I'm definitely going to use the pen, and then the other thing I'm thinking about is just showing how I won't be actually doing this, but we can talk a little bit about how great it can be for coloring after you've done all the. So I'm going to take this out because I've got a thicker stamp going on here. So there's that.
So you're taking out the foam insert?
I am. Wish me luck. Sometimes I prefer having the foam insert, but. So I'm doing this as knowing that I will have to fussy cut this out after. I'm not looking for my final right now.
Tap, tap, tap.
Tappy, tap, tap, tap.
So this is where it can be tricky. You definitely want to have good light because you know
The other
you're
thing I'll
moving
do-
to make sure it's got ink on
kind
it.
of. I do double check. I mean, there's a shine or a gloss, so I can kind of still tell whether
Yes,
it's done.
it's-
And
yeah.
it did a very good job, so I'm happy. But I did that. I check it before I pull it out so that I could potentially
Redo it if you had to.
if I had to.
Yeah.
But and then sometimes I don't, and then I get mad at myself. But you know, that's just another story for another day. Let's see. See, this is good that this is not going to dry up on me because I hadn't picked.
Your color.
I hadn't. I know. I'm like, ah. Oh, that's one. I love.
Is this your favorite one?
Yeah.
That you were saying?
Yeah.
That is cool.
So I might not. Some people I know love to just cover the image. There, I don't think there's really a big deal. Either way, I like to just move around some powder. Some people will put a powder on it till it's fully covered. I'm happy just to kind of move it around and shake
It's
it
certainly
off.
more than enough, right?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, either works. It's
Yeah.
whatever works for you. I just like to have
That's cool.
less out of the jar because, well, as you can see, I tend to be a bit of a klutz.
So this is the instance too. I'm going to let Nancy carry on, but I'll just jump in here.
Go for it.
While she puts the powder away. So the paintbrush, this is where that's handy because before Nancy heats it, like just to clean up the little flecks.
Yeah. And even a bigger paintbrush, like on my paint, like if I'm going to use this piece of paper over and over and over, I don't want to start contaminating.
Yeah.
So I can brush off some of that.
There. So then when she
as
goes to
well.
emboss, it's super clean. Like she's not going to get any unwanted, especially with the darker color powders, right? They
Okay,
tend
I
to
have
stick
a cool idea.
where
I have a cool idea.
you
All right.
go, girl.
This is going to be Nancy experimenting on the fly. She had an idea. Hope it works. Just saying.
Better heat up your gun.
Okay.
So tell everybody that.
Thankfully, the Wagner heats up pretty fast.
Today we'll have to rewatch. Yes, I'm back. Hello to everybody on the replay.
So what I watched for is a gloss to
Yes.
appear. That's what I'm watching for. So I've heard the question, how do I know it's melted? It goes from powdery to glossy.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a plastic in it. There's something in there. It's
Melting.
plastic. It's melting. I'm melting.
I'm melting.
Melting. That color is cool.
If you're like me and you feel you have to move it, just do small movements.
Yes.
It's better just to chill and let
Yeah.
it happen.
Because once it starts to melt, don't take the heat away.
No, you need to finish
you need
melting
to-
it. Yeah.
Keep the flow, right?
Yeah.
Did you get the cheeks?
Whoa. See?
Oh, yours does get
It does.
hot.
It's stinking hot. It is stinking
you just-
hot. I know. And you can smell it.
That's hilarious. But okay, if this could not have worked out more perfect, you just like gave color to the face.
I did.
That's how hot those tools get, people. So be aware. Wow.
Okay.
You wouldn't even need to like use a marker or a pen to like
Not now.
get skin tone. You just did it. Okay, don't do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you just hold it up. You're like, oh, it all looks shiny. But you'll notice right away if there's a part that's still powdery. And even if you run your finger on it, you're like, oh, powder.
Oops. Yeah.
Right? Like you could just do a really light test. But it's all super shiny. I love it. All right. What you got, Nancy?
I'm going to try something. Inspired by your idea.
Okay.
But I'm also going to use glaze so we can see
I only brought
how
those colors.
glazy he is. Oh, you have?
I brought these ones.
Can I borrow this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to use squeezed lemonade.
I happen to own a lot of powders. I did not bring them all. So Nancy's just using the Versamark pen, and she's already picked out her color. Oh, it's picking up a little bit of the color from your powder.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. No, it's great.
So it's this all cooled. So by theory, none of this should stick to anywhere that the
right.
Versamark
I
isn't.
see what you're talking about here.
Okay.
But if there was any chance of that, like if you're going to add color to this one, let's add a little powder tool
That's the
before
way
you do that.
I am the worst for remembering the powder
Oh.
tool.
Some days I'm on fire, and other days I'm like a rookie.
Right?
Okay, she's got powder that sticks on there. That's nice.
I'm not going to...
I'm not worried about that.
Either. I
not
find,
worried.
too, just the smidgen of contamination, you'll always
It
seems-
works its way out. So what I'm
Yeah.
doing, this is the powder tool from Tailored Expressions.
Okay.
I'm just tapping it through there. So it's just releasing some of the anti-static powder so that if perhaps the image was not fully set, say if you just stamped it too,
Ooh.
that's really pretty.
I haven't even used it. Look at this. Time to use my
Same with this
stuff.
one, didn't even have it open either.
I didn't?
No.
Look at me, weirdo.
So this just prevents the powder from sticking to where you don't want it to. Okay. I'm going to try to answer a couple questions while Nancy is... Okay, so let me go up here. Someone taught me
Oh,
Yeah,
I
a
just use
good-
printer paper.
use a glossy sheet of paper from a magazine to catch excess embossing powder. It slides off really easily. Also, if you have a fold in it, it goes back into the container so much neater.
It does.
Yes, no, I use a piece of copy paper and I
usually
put
use
a
copy
fold
paper.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Totally what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The glossy paper, like from a magazine, that's a good idea
That's
too.
brilliant. I hadn't thought of
But
that.
a lot of the super fine powders, doesn't matter how slick your paper is,
They
it
just-
still wants to stick a little
Well, I think
bit.
some of it's static, right?
Oh,
so it's not
yes.
always just about the gloss.
No,
but-
yeah, right. Even if your home or your room is really dry too.
Yeah.
Oh, Anne Moberg says, "What brand of powder did you just use?" And I'm sorry, Anne, I don't know if that was you or me.
Well, I'm
Nancy's-
using the Distress glaze.
Nancy's using the Distress Glaze,
And then to actually put down my outline, I used Wow in Turkish coffee.
oh yes, right, the Turkish coffee. That's what
And
she
then-
stamped the image.
You
or-
used Wow in
Ocean.
ocean, clear ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll find these all 15% off on the online store under the demo deal.
Demo. Here, I'll fold this right now. Oh,
Yeah.
we got stuff on the back. Use your scraps.
Use your scraps.
Okay, I did not spend a lot of time on this. So
We're
I don't
just-
expect mine to be colored particularly well. But you know what? The other thing too, no, see, I didn't. But the good news is I can always go back and re-add more,
Yep.
right?
So did you use the pen again for this?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Oh yeah, Jenny, use your glazes. They're great. And they're just more subtle too, right? When they dry, or when you heat them because of their translucent properties, for sure.
The other thing I'm very careful about is getting my lids back on. I am a super klutz. As soon as I start getting going, I will knock crap flying.
Yes.
And then...
Which I have done with black embossing powder.
Which is fun. Really fun.
Mm-hmm. Fun.
So know, too, that when I'm doing this glaze, I am remelting what I already did, but it shouldn't move.
And after the fact, too, just let it cool a second longer, right?
Yep. Oh, I like the moon. The moon
moon's
turned
cool.
out great.
So the other thing is, too, so once it's cool, if Nancy's like, oh, I want it to be brighter, take your embossing pen, do a whole other layer, and emboss it again.
Yep.
Or you're like, oh, that's not the color I envisioned. Take your embossing pen, add a different color.
You betcha.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
This is a great tool. Same with this one.
Yep.
Same thing. Different brand.
Yep.
That is cool. See, like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I didn't spend a lot of time on the coloring. I might actually, get in there and go up and do some detailed coloring for, to jazz it up. The other thing I could do is get in.
Is that dry?
Here. Yeah.
Let's add
Yeah, I could add another color.
another color.
Let's have some fun.
I also like to keep a Swiffer duster thing in my craft room.
Those are good.
Because the powder, no matter how neat, clean, static tool you try to use, powder is powder, right? So then when I'm all done embossing for the day, I just take my duster and like my whole desk.
Sounds great. Okay.
So Nancy's dried the first layer. Use the pen again because she wants to add a second color.
And I didn't do it perfectly. I filled in white spots and maybe went over a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens. Well, this could be interesting. Oh, this is going to be funny.
I think the pen's so versatile.
Yeah. Well, it is a Versa mark.
Versatile mark. Yeah. The coolest
I
thing,
love this color. I don't have this one.
they're also great,
Dang.
about the glazes is the fact that they dry translucent. So versus, something like this that dries opaque. So if you have a stamped image and you apply your embossing ink and cover it with this, you won't be able to see that stamped image in behind because it's full coverage opaque. These dry transparent. So you can still see Nancy's stamped image. Those little dots, you can still see it.
Yeah. So I could keep going, keep layering as much as I want. And then she's got this cool pattern dress. But one last thing I wanted to show, and it was the gold. Heather's showing the gold that made me think of this, that I need to show this. So this is a die from
Art and
Creative.
I think so.
And this one, we have a bunch left still. I don't know if we have this specific one. There's Dream Big, Best Day, Thank You, Let's Party. But let's say I just had some, I don't know about you, but I'll sometimes want to, I'm not particularly inspired, but I will want to go ahead and cut out a number of sentiments ahead of time. So I'll do it in black and white because I can do whatever I want to them later. But this is one thing you can do, and it's kind of fun. As I'm going to grab the Versamark. And I've got this, you get a Teflon pad or some sort of silicone pad on purpose for easy clean. So I'm just going to go over it and just make sure it's good and juiced up. It's even kind of sticking to there. I don't care. I'm fine. I'm just making sure it's getting some super good coverage on my sentiment. Then what I'll do is I'll set that aside. I'm going to want to take a towel.
Oh, paper towel?
Yeah, and
I've got this cleaner too if you want.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly tidy my spot, just so that I don't get, because well, as we said, embossing powder flies around. I do not want to emboss down.
Everything.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll grab this, and I'll grab my carrier sheet, and then I'll just pick any color I want that might go with my...
Do you want gold?
Let's do the gold.
Polished gold.
Polished gold.
How's that?
Perfect. So it's Christmas time, and I have no foil sheets. I forgot to buy myself some foil sheets. So I'll just go ahead.
And make gold.
Yes. So based on the fact that it's fine, meaning the sentiment is fine detail, I want to make sure I get some really good coverage. But again, don't forget, you can always layer. So if the first one doesn't work or doesn't do it perfectly, I can always just add another layer.
Yep. Or if you have like a chunk of scrap paper, you could emboss the whole chunk and then die cut it too. So there's multiple ways.
That's the other way too, yeah. Absolutely.
So when I do this, I normally like to have like fine tweezers.
Yes.
Or
lifting out of the...
What I'll do is even leave it on your non-stick heat-resistant craft sheet.
Okay.
And heat from there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Want me to do it?
Yeah, heat away.
Heat away.
Heat away.
So she's just customizing the cardstock, right? It's a great way to use your scraps.
Was I using the embossing gun so close, Heather? Was I?
I think it was, well, maybe on the...
I think it was a little... I might have been a little close.
Maybe a little close when we got our face.
See, the problem is you don't want to go back and forth between tools either, because you get used to using this.
Yeah.
And then you flip back over the other, and the next thing you know, you're burning things because you're used to, right?
Having it so close.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. See? Oh, I hope you can see that. But sometimes I'll just put something kind of down around it so it doesn't blow it.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a nice gold. I think I've forgotten how pretty this powder is.
I think I forgot how pretty this powder is. And they don't look the same as they are going to
No.
look in the jar. Polished gold, super fine. So sometimes what I've seen people do is actually emboss a sample right on lids.
Yes. I need to do that more, but honestly, I store mine all upside down in my drawer.
But then I don't know that I would grab that.
No. Yeah, no. Doing a little sample actually would be brilliant. Time consuming. But even if you did a sample every time you got a new color.
Yeah. Look at that.
Just trying to make sure I got that corner. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to let that cool just for a second.
Yeah, you don't want to put your fingers right in there. That's not nice.
So as an FYI, everybody, this is polished gold. Super fine.
And if you don't get it, I'm going to. So
no, this one is mine. This one's mine, but I don't use it.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
To the shoppers out there.
Yeah, for the shoppers trying to take care of the deal. But get on it fast or you're going to miss it because I'll get it.
Wow. Yeah, see? Haha. It's a wild brand. Wow.
Wow.
Look at that. That looks like gold foil cardstock.
It does. It does.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Even we wow ourselves sometimes.
Wow.
Okay, oh gosh,
brilliant.
No! We don't put the gun onto the paper ever. No, you will burn.
Yeah,
and
no.
it must have been an angle because I don't think either of us touched the gun to the paper. At least not on purpose.
No. Okay, so here's the other thing too, because Nancy obviously had to hold it at some place.
Yep.
Right. So now with her embossing pen.
Oh yeah.
You just go over the place she missed. Can I do it on here?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that where you?
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, that's beautiful.
This is beautiful. Why? This has been in my drawer. It's not like...
This was going on all Heather's Christmas cards.
Jeez, that's a nice gold.
And why are we talking Christmas? It's starting to arrive, people.
Because it's 6 months today.
Yeah.
June 25th.
Wowie. Wowie zowie.
And because...
People really do start thinking this early, so...
Yeah.
We're not...
No, not me, but some.
Well...
Oh!
Did you?
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, it's fine. Oh, maybe it needs a little more. I have made some Christmas cards this year, though.
Haven't yet.
We need to maybe think about maybe a Christmas demo this summer, because that won't annoy everybody. Okay, so I can probably hold it far enough away.
I agree that you need time to get prepared. It's just if you're the type of person who's really good about getting ahead and doing it no pressure, or me, who does it closer to Christmas and gets a little, has to be pressured.
So there you go. I used my pen. I went back over it. I'm just really impressed with this gold. Okay. Love it.
The gold is wow.
Yep.
And it's called Polished Gold Superfine. So I have a feeling
I don't even know what
we're
we
going to
have
have
in
to
stock.
put this on reorder.
But I will tell you this, all of their golds, like the metallic rich.
They're all lovely.
There's so many, the platinum gold, they're beautiful. And
Yeah.
they melt beautifully.
They do.
Okay. Nancy, that's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, what Nancy is saying, die cut a bunch of sentiments in white or black or whatever
'em.
color. And honestly, because these are opaque finish, you could use scrap for this.
Yes. Stash them later.
Yeah. And then emboss them, customize them.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. I love embossing powders. They are just so versatile. Okay, I want to show two more things. Hope I wasn't jumping on you
Carolyn
there.
wants us to think about fall colors first. She might be right. I mean, really?
Carolyn, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
She's right.
Let's not rush it.
I know it does annoy
And
me.
I
when you get
love
into stores
fall.
And there's too much ahead. Do you want me
Yeah.
to take those stamps back?
Yes, please. Okay. Give me 1 sec. I want to show two more things. Yeah, there are so many things you can do with your embossing powders. So many. This is
Yeah, and we
We
have
really-
to talk each other down. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's stick to basics. Basics, Nancy. Basics.
basics.
Heather. Okay, these.
But like we said again, like I think we have some more videos, different ideas on our YouTube channel. But
Nope,
of course,
it's called Polished Gold Superfine. So not metallic. It comes up gold, and blingy, but it's not saying metallic.
Yeah.
So we will get it on order. If it's available, we will get it.
okay,
if
so
we don't
this is
have
just
it.
my scrap paper again. I'm going to grab I need a new ring for my stencils. I'm just going to grab a stencil. I'm not even choosy. I'm just picking.
Did you bring
One.
stencils too?
I did. Oh yeah, look at
What
you.
you were thinking?
Okay, I'm just going to lay it over there. And where to put my dabber? Oh my, I just about put my dabber back on the shelf.
Oh, don't do that.
think.
We need to show the
Oh yeah,
dabber.
that's mine.
Yeah, that's yours.
Okay, so this is full of embossing fluid. That's all that is, okay? It has a little sponge dabber on it. When you push it, there's on the inside, it releases that liquid right there once it's pressed on it, okay? So it is like it says, it's a dabber, it's not a scrubber. And I know that because I have also peeled off that
I've ruined them.
foam top. Okay, so make sure number
like
one,
bingo.
the one time I couldn't get it to work, it was annoying me. I couldn't figure it out. It was also the middle of winter, and it sits in my room. It sits on a shelf on the far wall. It was cold.
Oh.
So I took it out, and I just kept it in my hand for a while, warmed it up.
That's
You
huge.
can also take it like your magic bag, warm it up, lay it out, and say your Nuvo liquid drops, those
Gives
things
it
too
more
aren't fluid enough.
fluidy.
Same thing. Set all those on your
Yes.
heat pad too. Okay, so it's just,
Smart.
it's warm to the, not warm, you know what I mean, it's room temperature.
Yep.
And I'm not scrubbing it. I am dabbing it until I see that liquid come out. Okay, and I am dabbing it through my stencil.
No scrubby scrub. Well, yeah, you will ruin that spongy.
Oh yeah, it doesn't take much
30
for that to
seconds.
come out.
Well, I've done
No.
it even just cleaning stamps. There's one of them that came out with a dauber, a stamp cleaner, and I'm pretty sure it's
What, our archival
their
one?
archival one.
Oh yeah, both my bottles don't have a thing anymore.
Yeah. So then you have to figure out how to deal with that. But
Yeah.
lots of times that's a problem for another day.
Okay, so it just takes a bit, and if you haven't used yours in a while, it could be built up. So it's just a matter of pushing on it to get that flowing through there too.
Yes, just
Okay.
like a pen.
Yeah.
Sometimes the delivery system needs to get re-moistened.
Exactly. You can also, I have opened this up before, used a paintbrush and used it as a paint. too.
Absolutely.
And just like in the art journal or whatever, you can paint it on and apply your embossing powder. Okay, so that I can tell I've got some down there through the stencil. Now I can emboss it. Can I have extra paper, please, Nancy? And this will clean up really easy in the sink with warm water. Thank you. And I'm just going to use... Do you have another wow powder?
I have all the wow. No, I don't. Which wows do you want? I got 2 Turkish coffee.
Nah, changed my mind.
You did?
Cracked pistachio. I'm going to use a glaze again, but just because. You have 2 Turkish coffee?
Yeah, I do. Royal.
It's not your favorite, is it?
Yeah, it is. I love it.
So say you have a piece of chipboard or wood embellishment, that's where this comes in really handy. Because you just lay it down, dab it on, right? Rather than trying to push your Versamark pad onto it.
Even this might have been better with the dauber. When I did the...
Either or.
Like
I honestly push this kind of stuff into my ink pad too.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Less chance
I just find things with bulk. Like, okay, if you have a metal brad, say it's bright orange, and you're like,
I love this technique.
That is terrible. I'm never going to use that color.
Yeah.
You can take the end, hold it with your tweezers, take the end of that brad,
heat it up.
Dip it
You don't
into
even
this.
have to. You
Do
don't.
you just heat it?
I just heat it.
Oh.
Because the
because
metal
it
gets
melts
hot,
the metal.
and then I dip it right in the embossing powder and then melt it. Finish melting it.
So you could do that with your brads, your eyelets, your buttons, all the things.
Yeah.
You can customize them with your powders.
It's probably why I still have my old stash of
I'm
colors.
going to have to try that with my old ugly brads.
Do it.
Okay. So there, I just used a dabber through a stencil, which is just much easier than trying to push your stamp pad through it and hope for good coverage.
Yes.
That's all. Okay. And then I just have one more thing I want to talk about today too.
Okay.
And I'm going to heat this. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy is on the ball with getting that powder put away.
I've had too many powders go flying, I think.
Too many
learned
powder
lessons.
mishaps.
Yeah. There are certain times when I'm willing to take a chance, and other times it's like, yeah, not this one.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I am a couple inches away from the paper. I can feel the heat over here, so you can tell that this is...
Stinking hot.
They get stinking hot, yeah. Voila, done. And I love the elevated look of embossing. I am
really do.
such a
and
sucker
it doesn't
for that.
add a ton of bulk, so you
No.
couldn't do this in your scrapbooks. Get your mixed media look.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere, transferring to anything else. And you're going to get that cool...
Yeah. And then I can
look.
even add another stencil over this and do a different color.
Absolutely.
For layers.
Layers,
Yes.
layers, layers.
It also acts as a resist. So if you were to ink, take your ink pad or your blending brushes, it will actually resist the ink. It will apply to the paper, but you can wipe it off your... You know, you can do so many things with your powders, but...
Yep.
Okay, different day, right?
Right.
Maybe we'd have to do an advanced embossing powder demo.
Dynamic Duo demo.
You know
Boss
that
Boss
thing.
2. Power Powders 2.
Okay. My very favorite thing
I love this.
to tell everybody about is with either your VersaFine, that's the OG pad. No, it is no different than this one. This is the newer packaging, newer version.
Watch our inks to find
Watch
out more
our,
about
yes,
that.
our ink demo. We talked about that. So this is a black pigment ink, and it's a crisp image. So I do a ton of embossed sentiments for the front of my cards or the inside of my cards, okay? I'm going to use the VersaFine Claire. Oh, I did bring a sentiment stamp, okay? It's like, how do I stamp a sentiment with that one? I brought one. I'm just going to choose, hey, you.
Hey,
You. Hey, you.
Do you need a block for your...
Oh, did we bring blocks? Or
There's blocks over
remember
here. It used to be anyway.
We had this discussion. We had blocks. I could use the Misty too, but
You know what else I've used?
yeah. You know what else I'm going to
The
use?
stamp
This-
pad.
Yeah,
itself.
I was just going to say this. Okay. See, there's my stamp. It's just on the lid there.
Yeah, it's called
improvise.
Improvising.
We pivot.
We pivot.
Okay, so I'm just stamping it with black, and I know I'm going to die cut it, so this does not matter where it goes. I'm going to stamp it down. Okay, nice crisp black ink. There you go. Not forget that this is here. Put that there to clean. And I'm actually going to use a different piece of paper just because there's a bit of colored powder in there, so I know I don't want to get it in this jar. I'm going to set it over here, and clear superfine powder. This is the trick. So if you want a really pretty black embossed image, my suggestion is always black,
Stamp the black.
superfine pigment ink, clear powder. People are like, oh, I don't use my Versamark with my black powder. There's a time and a place for black powder, but it can be the most unforgiving.
That's exactly right. So even if
Yeah.
I want a black outline embossed, this is what I'll do.
Yeah.
Not just sentiments.
Black ink, clear powder.
And I just find it, for troubleshooting, it has gotten rid of so many problems.
Yeah.
Because, see, especially a fine embossing powder, you'll get shadowing all around it.
Okay, so I'm just going to heat it. That's
But like you said, there's times.
There's
but
times that I use black powder, and it's
Absolutely.
time and place. But if you have like a fine line stamp or any of your sentiment stamps, I
Yeah.
just don't suggest it. I say black ink and clear powder.
Me too. But I learned that from you.
Honestly, it's the best, right?
It's the best.
And we're watching the magic of the melt. Boom.
Hey, you.
Shiny. Shiny. Okay. Best thing. Oh, and I'm just going to add this. Oh, that brush tip needs to be replaced.
Aw.
Looks like I might actually need a new pen. Ladies. Hi. Oh, here I'm whispering, but my mic's still on anyway.
It's like, we all know.
Hi, ladies. I can say it right there. Everybody else can.
And why not?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Heated my gun. I used my pen with a little of the Kitsch Flamingo. Not even sure. Embossing
Yes, it is.
glaze. Ah. Embossing glaze, and I just put a pretty embossed heart around my sentiment to end the demo and say, hey you, thanks for being here.
It's a lovely little heart.
It's a little wonky, but you get the gist.
All right. So thanks again for joining us today for our power
Of powders.
powders.
Yeah,
So make a comment in the comments,
yeah. You know, there.
underneath the video.
Yep.
If you have any questions, we do double check and circle back and check on comments after this is done. If you're joining late, watch for this to be uploaded to YouTube, but it'll also be on the Facebook for a little while. And any ideas that you have for future dynamic duo,
We would appreciate that.
that would be awesome. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.